Hey, we are live. Oh, and it's brighter this time. Awesome. If you remember last time, it was really yucky. And let's go and share this on social media. Live. Oh, I hate the. And let's see, are we live? Hey, big boss, how you doing, man? Hey, everybody, what is going on? Let me see. Did I do this right? And I'm probably about ready to get feedback. Yes, I am. I'm going to stop there. So we are live. Hey, thank you, Big Boss. Can homelessness be a solution instead of a problem? Principles of Eden, I think it is. You're going to have to explain that a little bit. I don't know how homelessness could be a solution. Hey, John, you've been taking portraits and helping people for 8 years. Awesome. Charlie's in the house. So many of you may remember Charlie, one of the first people that I interviewed on this live stream. And sadly, Charlie is still homeless in Southern California. A great, great person. In fact, Charlie, you'll be the first to know. I will probably be West Coast, not this week, but next week. I'll send you some more details. Yeah, hey everybody, I got some really really amazing news. In fact, it's so amazing. I have two really huge things to announce. I just can't announce them just yet. I'm sorry. They're both huge. They're both a done deal. They're both going to happen. I just am not allowed to talk about them publicly yet. I really want to, but I can't just yet. I will soon, but I can't right now. I hope to soon, and you guys will all be the first to know. Today, I did get the official email from YouTube creators that we're going to get the Silver Creator Award. I think it's now called the Silver Creator Award. It used to be the Silver Play button. Not too sure about it. Now, we hit 100,000 subs a month and a half ago, but it takes YouTube a while. It's frustrating to me that it takes them a while. However, they actually check to make sure that the subs are real subs and not fake bots. And I think that's pretty awesome. So I can wait for that. Hey, yeah, Glenn, I think we hit 110, actually. Hey, Ramban, I know a lot of people do say, I can't say a lot of people. Some people say houseless. So I've heard structurally challenged, people experiencing homelessness, unhoused, displaced, all these other phrases. And this is how I settle it. The public doesn't say unhoused. The public doesn't say people experiencing homelessness. The public doesn't say structurally challenged. Majority of homeless people actually say the homeless. I don't particularly like that phrase, but I'm not going to correct a homeless person because I'm no longer homeless. So that would be really odd for me to do that. I try to only say homeless people or people experiencing homelessness. So I know a lot of people have different phrases, vehicle residents, different things. And if you want to call, uh, your state of homelessness or whatever, whatever you want, that's fine. Anybody can do that. And I will respect that. In fact, there's this argument on People First language about what people, a lot of the academics or the social workers want to only say People First language, which means people experiencing homelessness. You never say the homeless or homeless people. You only say people experiencing homelessness. Well, I don't particularly like that because for me, homelessness isn't Disneyland. It wasn't an experience. It was hell. So if you say it's an experience, even though you have good intentions, it is diminishing the hell that I went through and the struggle that I, was immense to get out of homelessness. So, and I get, the bottom line is, to me, majority of homeless people never say, no, not majority, every homeless person has never said people experiencing homelessness unless they're coached by a social worker to say that. And I mean, just think about that. Somebody who is never homeless is telling a homeless person how they should describe their own homelessness. That's pretty arrogant of us in the homeless services sector to say, oh, we know what homelessness is like, and this is how you should never say this or that, and you should only talk like us. That's bull. So, anyways, how's everybody doing? A little bit of a rant there. So my mom is in the nursing home. That's my update. And I hear her dog chewing on something. So it is 9:55. I usually stay with you guys until my throat can't take it anymore, but I can't tonight. I am going to do an hour and that's it. And then we're going to say goodnight and happy week and all that. So let me catch up on a little chat. I'm going to go back a little bit. Glenn says I like to think about how close people are to homelessness, and we should take a moment to understand and be compassionate about that. So my mom just went into a nursing home, and it's a very real scare. I mean, there's the obvious mom in nursing home and all that stuff, but the scare is she is low income. She gets around $1,500 a month, but the house is paid for, but the house is above that bracket. So the nursing home is paid by Medicaid for 100 days, but after that 100 days, she has to pay for it. And since her house is an asset, we might have to sell the house. Now I'm moving in here, so that means if we have to sell the house, I'm homeless again, and that's how quick it starts. And so the government, or however the laws, I don't know if it's state or federal, will allow a person, if their spouse lives here, or if there's a chance that the person is going to come from the nursing home back to their house. So if mom doesn't get better and she stays in the nursing home, and because my stepdad died, we could lose the house. Very real. Fabrico asks, is it it's done. Homelessness is a crisis. Now, whose responsibility is it to end it? And I think it's all of ours. And yes, government plays a big part, but we are the government. We vote for, I know I'm frustrated with the government here in the United States. I'm sure other people are too. It doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat. I think everybody's frustrated. I think that's what leads to some of the polarization. But my point is, and thank you for the question, because I think it's really important, It's all of our responsibility, not our fault. I mean, you could say it's all of our fault too, but it's all of our responsibility to do something about that. And that could be, last live stream, I talked about my neighbor who came over and helped my mom at 2 a.m, and she didn't have to. And she even called in sick from work to go help my mom. You know what I mean? So we can help our neighbors, and then you can send emails and phone calls and write to your congressmen and legislators so that they affect change. So I think it's all of our responsibility. The leading cause of homelessness right now is the lack of affordable housing. And that is not going to change unless all of us do something about it. Great question. Thank you. Hey, John. Yes, we're at 1010-072 subs. So if you haven't subbed, please sub. Hey, Terry, you lost your job in an apartment and was homeless. Are you back in housing, I hope? Ashgard, that was a long time ago. And Alexandria asked me to remove her video. So I did. Hey, John, I don't know. John asked, am I planning on traveling to the West Coast? So I have some travel coming up. Some of it just happened today. I'm in New York City next week. I'm in Los Angeles the week after that. Then I'm in San Jose. If you guys can read between the lines, maybe you'll figure out what the announcements I have there. And then I'm off to London and then Wales, to Cardiff, Wales, and then back to London again and then back here. It's going to be crazy. If you're the praying type, I need some prayer because my mom is in the nursing home. But these incredible opportunities came up to fight homelessness internationally, and I have to do what I can to try to make it. In all that, I'm also I can't afford rent myself, so I'm trying to move in here with my mother. And I got to figure out how I'm going to pack boxes and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a challenge. But to answer your question, John, and again, a good question, I really want to travel more. I don't know really yet what's up with my mom. She went into the hospital a week ago. I was down here. It was a week ago. I think I did the last feed. Maybe I did it Friday night, last stream. And hey, Benny, thank you. Thank you for praying for mom. And we don't know yet. I mean, she went into a nursing home. Hopefully she'll be out quick. It looks like she might be there a little bit. So I don't know if the plan was, this is the 10th year anniversary of Invisible People. And the plan was to do another road trip this year, but I don't know how long I can leave mom at the present time. Hey, TJ Hardison, you want to be honest. Let's be honest, though. Some certain cases of homelessness is because the persons choose to be homeless, living on the street and traveling. So I will be honest with you, and that percentage is very, 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 very small. And the person that chooses to be on the street is living a nomadic lifestyle. They are not homeless, or there's van life and full-time RVers and people living off the grid. It's their choice at any moment. TJ, just being totally honest, at any moment they can go, oh, I don't want this choice anymore, and go rent an apartment or get a hotel room or do whatever they need to change their lifestyle because they have a choice. True homelessness is absence of choice. Majority, 99.99999% of homeless people are out on the streets due to situations beyond their control. And if they could would change their life for the better. But unfortunately, they end up on the streets. Right now, it's lack of affordable housing. Not their fault, not their choice. They just can't afford rent and they end up on the streets. Maybe it's mental health, maybe it's drug addiction. Let's just be really honest. The percentage of people that are addicted to drugs that's in housing is just a little slight. Well, not just a little slight. It's so about 30% of people do drugs, and about 37% of homeless people do drugs. Well, homeless people are going to the bathroom behind a McDonald's dumpster. They at least have a reason to escape. I mean, people use drugs to escape. So there's this whole myth that, oh, they're a drug addict, and they're not. It's just like regular people. Majority of drug addicts are in, not majority, but most drug addicts are in condos and houses and apartments. And, there's this, yeah. Anyways. So hopefully, good question. I'm glad you asked it. But true homelessness is absence of choice. Fabrico asked, do I have a relationship with an ONG? I don't know what an ONG is. Hey, Arab Andy, you know what? I do. Good point. Arab Andy talks about people don't talk about gambling addiction, and I do know of one person, and I'm sure there's more. Just one person I met that ended up homeless because he couldn't stop gambling, and gambled away his house. Family left, and he ended up homeless. Hey, Jeffrey, thank you for the prayers. Hey, TJ. So, you're talking travelers and train hoppers, and again, majority of they tell you they like that lifestyle, but and it's interesting. I was interviewed by Fox News on this topic this week. Fox News drove up from New York City, about a 4 or 5 hour drive, to interview me about kids that are hopping trains. So again, there is a small percentage of people that are nomadic that decide to do that, but they can change their life at any moment. A lot of travelers are kids that were thrown away. They left home because the environment was unsafe. Being out on the streets homeless, they felt safer. I mean, can you imagine your home life is so bad that you go out on the streets and that is safer? And it's just like gangs and everything else. They find camaraderie. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. You said honest in your other chat. I love travelers. I think it's a romantic lifestyle. I wish I could do it. Often I have good friends that are travelers. Kelly is, I think, headed to New York and then up to Vermont. She's a good friend, and she's tried to talk me onto a bus here and there. I don't think I could ever hop a train, but I definitely would love to travel with some hippie, dirty kids on a bus. I think it would be awesome. It would be fun. It would be cool. But I'm 57 years old and I'm sober, and I know my boundaries, so I can't do it. So, uh, anyways, what I was trying to say is a lot of the kids are homeless youth. They run into a couple of travelers. It looks cool. It's fun. See the world. It's sexy. It's romantic. And then they end up travelers at 20, 30 years old, and they don't know anything better and they can't get out of that lifestyle. So the brain has to say one of two things. The brain has to say, society hates me, or I like where I'm at. So you will run into a lot of people, and it doesn't matter what demographic of homelessness. When they first entered homelessness, they really tried to get out and better their life, but they kept hitting that wall. We don't make it easy for somebody to get out of homelessness. We don't. And then they give up and say, I like it. I want to be homeless. This is my choice. So the point where you're talking with travelers, again, there's a very 99.9999999% of people, are homeless because they don't have a choice. They're traveling because life put them on there and they can't get out of it. So they say they want to be there. There's this tiny, tiny bit that has a choice. They have a bank account, and somehow, some way, they can make a decision and rent a hotel or get an apartment or whatever it is. True homelessness is absence of choice. Hopefully that understands that. I mean, I get it, So I was interviewing a guy in the UK. I remember it because he walked, UK is an island, and he walked around it a couple of times. And I thought that, it takes like a year or so to walk around, the UK. I thought that would be really neat, gosh, what a way. And he says, I like to be homeless. And so I asked him, I said, did you ever try to get out of homelessness? And he said, yeah, when I first got homeless, I tried, but I couldn't get out. So then I made the best of it. So that's what people do. Hey, Vicky, how are you? Gizbar, you sympathize with homeless because I was sorry that you're homeless. And then Richard, I got sober in December 2013. I still haven't moved off the streets. I keep pushing further out. Hey, Richard, wow. If you're out on the streets and you are sober, God bless you. That is so hard. That is so hard. Hey, TJ, so you're homeless in Myrtle Beach. Wow. I've been to Myrtle Beach a couple times, never in the capacity of doing homelessness. I'm glad you're inside. Hopefully, it's a safe place, and hopefully, there's a path out of housing. So, for those of you that are homeless or formerly homeless, everybody else, there's this whole big Facebook for you. But if you're homeless or formerly homeless, we have a group just for formerly homeless and homeless people. You can find it at wearevisible.com. So, TJ, wearevisible.com. There's somebody up here too, Richard. I think you're still out on the streets. You're sober. Wearevisible.com. Love to have you. But if you're not homeless, please, please, we try to keep this just for homeless people so that, it's a peer support group. Hey, John. Oh my gosh. Wow, you just got a place. That is awesome. And I don't know what city you're in, but winter is, I assume, someplace cold. Yeah. If I'm saying it wrong, I mean, Gizbar, please forgive me. One thing that drives me crazy about YouTube handles is you guys got the coolest names, but sometimes I don't know whether to say it phonetically or if there's a different pronunciation. But it's hard. A lot of people are working multiple jobs. Hey, Lucas, you're living in a tent and working full time. What part of the country are you in? And again, love to have you guys. Wow, John just said Wisconsin. That's got to be cold. Love you guys to have you join us on wearevisible.com. So subscribe if you haven't, please, please, please. So usually we're around 100 people on the stream. Not a lot of people tonight, which is fine because we got the right people right here. So So Reese asks, what would you do in this situation? I can't afford the room I'm renting anymore and have to move out. My choices are sleep in the car or move in with my abusive father and save money. You know, Reese, I my heart breaks for you. I don't think I can make that choice for you. I think you have to make that decision yourself, based on safety and security. I don't know your father and how abusive he is. I know my own situation. I mean, just moving back with I'm moving back with my mom, even though my mom is in the nursing home and I'm an adult, and even though I have a good relationship with my mom, moving in with your parent when you're an adult is tough. So if it's an abusive relationship, my heart breaks for you because that's a tough decision. Um, one thing you might want to try uh, is contacting Reese, and I hopefully I'm saying the name right. Contact homeless services. If you can't afford rent, there may be a way for you to get what's called rapid rehousing money, where they pay you rent for a while to restabilize, instead of living in your car, or going back to with your father. But I would at least contact homeless services, and see what they say. Hey, Unchained Melody, hello, hello. If I miss saying hello to some of you, hello to everybody. Sometimes the chat just goes by too fast, and um, Kyle, you live in Lancaster, California, or Lancaster, Pennsylvania? I've been to both. My ex-wife actually lives in Lancaster, California. That's extremely hot in the summer and extremely cold. Hey, Glenn, I do have a Patreon. The link is down in the description someplace. Yeah, Lucas, I don't know. And all of you guys that are living in your car are intense. I can't imagine. And, part of the reason, there's very good, Lancaster, South Carolina. Sorry, I picked, I picked the two I knew. Hey, Alex from France. There was some talk. There used to be some talk about me going. Alex, I hear there. I don't know where you are in France, but I hear there's large homeless camps outside of Paris, and there was talk of me going there at one point. So I'm gonna pronounce your name wrong, Saraz. Saraz. You're asking can't find jobs because they don't own a house or address. It's not own a house; it's an address. So when you're applying for a job, uh, employers don't hire homeless people. They just don't. And so on a job application, you have to put down an address. And if you don't have an address, you're not going to get hired. Or if you put down a shelter address, sometimes they know and figure out, oh, that's the local shelter. Sorry, next. So having an address is extremely important. So I know, if possible, people rent a P.O. box or use a friend's address or a family's address. Okay. Hey, Tiffany. Hello from, or I am in Binghamton and you're in Phoenix. Wow. How many of you? So, this is something that I did not really understand, or maybe I just didn't pay attention to, and I'm sorry. There's a huge amount of people on YouTube that are homeless. How many of you are homeless? And when I mean homeless, I'm not talking government homeless. That you are in a place that's not meant for normal. A car, a truck, a tent. Well, Lucas, I mean, that's kind of a double-edged sword there. And Glenn, I'm glad you understand the struggle and that you give. Kyle is asking, is bicycle maintenance a good way to make money for nomads? I would assume it is. I see, when you go to most tent communities, there's somebody there making bikes and different things. I think it's whatever um, your skills are. I mean, most people that travel and work usually do some kind of internet stuff that they can, write code or stuff. So. So MX Honda, I don't get the whole thing. When you say me, I assume you're saying you're homeless. Hey, Tiffany, that is awesome that you got a voucher and that you're going to get out. Hey, Arab, you know what is tricky about Upwork? And I use Upwork. I don't use it for working, I use it to hire people sometimes. But Upwork changed hands. They merged with Odex and they take a huge percentage. I don't know. There might be some other out there. So I know one of the girls in our online support group, she types for rev.com, and they do captions, and she makes fair living off that. And Upwork might be something, but Upwork does take a huge percentage. Hey, thank you. Who said I am the man? I don't know how to read your YouTube handle. I wish I did. Tyler, you're asking what was my video called, or somebody in the group? Hey, Alexander, thanks for the prayers. The guy who's protesting outside of the way. Oh, that is protesting about Japan. Gosh, I forget what that. I forget what his name is. If I look now, I might lose the chat. Hey, Lucas, it's interesting. There's somebody in our online support group that actually converted a school bus, and he parks it in a storage during the day, and then he lives in his car. Then he lives in his car at night, but during the day he goes to where uh, he has this bus parked, and he's set it up good with it, generator and TV and heater, and it gives him a place of privacy and decency. Hey, Tyler, I'm glad you bought socks today, and thank you for your kind words. So I haven't, as many of you know, or some of you know, maybe a few of you just joined us. Um, I've been kind of experimenting with these live chats for several months. I started doing more of a produced show, and it seemed like you guys just wanted to talk. So that's what I've been doing now. I'm always open for suggestions. Tyler, thank you so much for the $1. You're awesome. Hey, Megan, how are you? And yes, his name was Leonard. Wow, you guys know Invisible People videos. That's pretty amazing. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Come on, come on, come on. Well, the dogs. Hey, Giannis, hopefully I'm saying that right. Thank you for the donation. Please, guys, I'm here talking to you, trying to establish just some communication with you guys. I think the world of you, but I'm not trying to raise money. In fact, most of Invisible People, I don't try to raise money. It's probably hurts me a little, but I just, I'm more about helping people. Hey, Billy, you are welcome. And Nunya, I'm glad you like this stream format. Why do you like this stream format, though? If you could give me some more ideas of what you don't like or do like. Kyle, which one? Which woman? Natasha? I'm hoping I had an email conversation with Natasha today. I'm hoping that I will be able to see her when I'm in London. Wow, Lady Fairfax, thank you. Wow, that's very kind of you. Yeah, I've been thinking about doing a video on how to add Facebook fundraisers. I got so many videos ideas. I'm going to apologize a little bit. I'm kind of not my normal self. If you don't know, my mom just went into a nursing home a week ago. She went into the hospital. So there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to do this week that I couldn't get to. Hey, Harry. I almost mentioned you earlier because I was saying there's somebody I couldn't pronounce his um, YouTube handle, and I was saying on some of these I don't know whether to say it phonetically or say it at all, and yours is the one. Hey, Lady Fairfax, thank you very much for your prayers. Shen, uh, you're talking about cities coming together for homeless shelters. What they need is housing. We need to end homelessness shelters. Don't end housing. However, because it takes so long to get housing, build housing, create housing, cities need shelters. And what it should be is a person is homeless. Well, first off, we got to prevent homelessness. There was a wonderful woman earlier who was asking, do I go live in my car or do I go live in an abusive relationship? So, right there, we need to prevent people from ever becoming homeless. That's number one. And then when somebody is homeless, we need to get them off the streets if it's a shelter, they call it bridge housing now. It's, this new sexy name for shelters. So if it's bridge housing, shelters, person goes into a shelter for a short amount of time as possible and then goes into housing. And that's how it should work. Hey, Master Ploy, is everybody having lag video? Rico, you got in section 8. You're lucky. Usually the section 8 is really long. So, Alexander, good question. Why do some states shut down the tent cities? It's not fair and they aren't hurting anyone. There's probably a lot of different reasons. The cities themselves are going to, and there's some truth to it, there's some public safety issues, uh, trash, and all these other things. Uh, Hey, Glenn, I deleted that. If you guys want to talk to each other and stuff, I don't mind. For your own safety, I wouldn't be putting your phone number out on YouTube. And I mean that just for your own protection. So back to 10 cities. Why communities? Um, why communities? It's fear. It's lack of understanding. So mostly people get into situations. Well, you have a business and there's homeless people around, or you have a residence and there's homeless people around. They feel uncomfortable. They don't know what to do. They see these tents. And it shouldn't be. There should be safe places. Well, first off, tents shouldn't even exist. There should be no homelessness. So let's start there. But since they do, communities should have safe places for people to camp. If you're camping outside of an Apple store for an iPhone, it's okay. But if you're sleeping on that same sidewalk because you got no place else to go, you get arrested. Hey, Miss Impressed, you work in an ER in downtown Charleston. Wow, that is a tough gig. I don't know if you're just joining us, but my mom's been in the hospital, and she was in a neuroscience ward in ICU, and I got to tell you, I am so, oh my gosh, the people that are the healthcare professionals, the compassion that they have for people is really amazing. Wow, misimpressed. Were people getting killed? Why? I mean, was there some kind of violence going on? Um, Emily, what do you mean that? What do you mean? Wow, I almost. What do you mean? People are disappearing. You mean like they're being pushed out by police? Hi, Sherry. Hey, Jean. Thank you for your prayers. Okay, folks, we got 15 minutes. I start my voice starts going. I start having trouble being able to concentrate right about now. I start getting my words mixed up. Actually, I got to tell you, it's been a very rough emotional week. Putting my mom in a nursing home. And but I talked to you guys last week. I really want to get these on a regular schedule. I know I've been saying that, but for right now, I'm just going to at least once a week, make sure that we have interactive conversation, so you guys can, tell me what's up, what you like, what you don't like. Hey, Charlie, you be safe, man. Please, please be safe. And I hope to see you in a week or so. Yeah, there's this, Deb, thank you very much for your kind words. We're all going to get older, and life is a bunch of births and deaths. And what I mean, it's not like, people dying and babies. It's like, you go through something, and then life changes, that dies, and then something new happens, that's a birth. And you've got to mature and go through them. And I got to say, seeing my mom in a nursing home is probably the most pain I have ever experienced, even more than homelessness. But also, along with, oh crap, I'm going to get emotional. Also, I've had some wonderful moments with my mom in the last week, sitting there and just trying to, talk to her. So, Master of Play, what do I think of Canada? So there's a few, there might even be, I know Vicky was here earlier, a few of my Canadian friends who are homeless or formerly homeless. Um, so homeless is the big difference for Canada, I think, is healthcare. Um, and healthcare isn't perfect in Canada, but it really makes a difference. What's interesting, the difference is there's a disproportionate number of people of color, African Americans, and here in the United States and in Canada, it's indigenous culture, that there's a disproportionate amount of people that are homeless. And that shouldn't be. Hey, Malka, thank you very much for your kind words. Nunya, and I do hope I'm saying that right. I do. I visit her every day. In fact, today I had to drive. I don't live here. I live about an hour and a half north. I have been trying to move here. I've been procrastinating it. I grew up here. I hate this town. There's nothing here for me except my mom and my family. I know that sounds funny. There's nothing here except my family, but there isn't. I mean, there's the airport shutting down. There's no businesses. It's getting to look like, Flint, Michigan. There's so many abandoned houses. It's not the same city I grew up in. But I've been procrastinating moving here, and now I can't move here fast enough. Yeah, Nunya, you must be in Canada. Hey, Megan, thank you. Oh my gosh. In fact, I believe you're Ontario. I think we talked about this before, and please forgive me. I have 22 years sober, and I can't remember where I parked my car. Thank you, Alexander. Yeah. So, Tiffany, the airport has been slowly losing flights. The air carriers left and left and left. And right now, there's two flights a day to Detroit. That's it. And that's not really good. The ones and the one city that actually I just came from Detroit, and I thought Detroit was awesome, but there's just two flights a day to Detroit, no other city. So it's really tough to fly, and it's a sign it's gonna close. Addie's in the house. Hey, Addie. Addie is a friend and she's formerly homeless, and she shares boo-boo photos that I don't like, but she helps moderate when I give her some advance notice. And tonight there has been nothing. I mean, one gentleman, Glenn, shared his number with good intentions, but I just, for his own protection, I deleted it because um, you don't share your number out on the YouTubes like that. So Nunya, we've been very blessed. There's not a lot of trolls in the stream, one or two a night, and when I stream, and it's been really, and even in the comments. I mean, there's some nasty comments, and some I try to delete the really bad ones. Some I leave it up just because you need to see how some people think. You know. Hey Sherry, thanks for your kind words. Victoria, thanks for your kind words. Hey, Glenn, thank you. And Victoria, sorry about your mom having Parkinson's disease. That's got to be so rough. Hey, Gene, let's hope not. I mean, I'm gonna pull the plug on this in about 10 minutes. So we've made it all night. And thank you for your LOA Blue, Loa Blue. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, Harry, it's really amazing. YouTube's known for trolls and bad, you know, uh, awful comments and everything. But, overall, you guys are just an amazing community. I'm so very grateful. Hey, Philip, I don't know. So hopefully we won't have to sell the house. I sent an email to a lawyer before I started the stream, and hopefully we can meet sometime and see what's up. Kasavan, hello, hello. Where are you in Canada? And hopefully I said your name right. Yeah, hi Emily. Older seeing seniors um, are tough. Seniors and kids. I love Toronto. I'm actually in Binghamton. Normally, I'm in Syracuse when I'm not traveling. It's about a 4-hour drive. There's an event coming up, Summer Winter Survival, that I usually participate in, but I can't this year. Anonymous Flower, and so are you. Wow, misimpressed. You just broke my heart. So most people just say, we helped them, we fed them. I mean, rub their backs, give pillows, warm blood, rub. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Casavan, and again, I hope I'm saying that right. There is a bunch of um, stories from Toronto. In fact, Jennifer, who's in a wheelchair, breaks my heart. I see her all the time. Um, there's a mall downtown. Um, uh, like there's a Dundas Park. Yeah, there you go, Eaton Center. There's a park right there, and there's a woman, Jennifer, usually in a wheelchair, and I would so much like to connect with her. Hey, Robert, thank you so much for the donation. Please, any of you, I greatly appreciate it, but you don't have to super chat or anything else. This is just about talking to you guys. I'm not trying to raise money. I am sincerely, this has been my journey in YouTube. I started YouTube 10 years ago. I actually started on Vimeo, and then YouTube talked me over. And uh, my real journey just started about a year ago, where I started seeing what a wonderful community. I mean, I always knew there was a community there, but I didn't talk to you guys like I do now. And that's what's really made the difference. So you're talking about people that choose to be homeless. I don't know how to say your username. I am sorry. I don't know if you can type it in English. But you're right. They're rationalizing it. Their brain, it's called learned helplessness. Uh, and thank you for your kind words. Well, I figured it was Hebrew, but I wasn't really sure, and I didn't want to offend anybody. So I will tell you, I, my little funny international story. How many of you know what a pet rock is? So pet rock, if you don't know, was this thing, and I always thought it was genius because some guy took a rock and put it in like a straw nest, put a box, and sold it to Americans. And he probably made millions of dollars doing it. So my first time speaking in London, I put on the slide a projector, and I was trying to use pet rock as an example of a fad. You know what I mean? Because it only lasted a short time. So I put it up on the screen, and everybody in the UK where I was speaking just looked like, I don't know what that is. So then I had to explain to them not only what a pet rock is, but why dumb Americans would buy a rock. So I'm very sensitive to cultural differences in norms out of respect, man, out of total respect. I adore different cultures. One of the interesting things, and there's some Canadians in here, many of you don't know, or maybe you do. I was given an Indigenous name, an Aboriginal name, when I did the Canadian road trip, and Canadian government had me go to 24 cities in Canada. So a Blackfoot shaman gave me a naming. There was a naming ceremony. So in the United States, when I tell people, they're like, "Well," in Canada, it's like you won the lottery, And I'm a white guy. I'm white privilege, all that, and for the indigenous culture and Aboriginal culture to um, uh, let me in and give me an Aboriginal name. So my name is Biumaka, and it means travels far. So you guys are probably thinking the same thing I did because I went to. How did you know? I came from Los Angeles. Wow, I always travel. I'm always on a plane or riding. And he said, no, you help people travel far. You help people go from here to here. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so awesome. So that is one of the most amazing experiences of my life, and I'm just using that as because our friend's name is in Hebrew, and I didn't know how to pronounce it, and wanted to explain. I mean, I think we all have to respect different cultures. And it's one of the things why I love homeless people, because there's so much tolerance. You can go and you can hang out with a group of homeless people, and somebody might be disabled, somebody might be intoxicated, somebody might have mental illness, somebody might be transgendered, somebody might be different races, different religions, and everybody is doing the best they can to get along. You look at our Congress in the United States, I mean, people aren't getting along. So that's one of the reasons. And oh my gosh, Addie had to delete a message. Boy, see, the moderator comes and we get somebody needs moderating. Hey, Glenn, hopefully you have a good night. So, folks, we've been on for an hour. I'm going to wind it down. Any last thoughts? Any last words? Any recommendations? Hey, perfect timing, Robert. Shoot. And Addie, you don't attract trolls. You are just awesome. Hey, Deb, thank you for your kind words. Hey, Eric, I have been to New Jersey, but I haven't been a lot. I would like to. Hey, Master of Play. I've been trying to do this more and more. I think the last one was a week ago. I think I asked and people said once a week. You don't want more than that. Hey, Robert, what's your question? And Gene, I will. I will be. Sherry, I would love to come to Idaho. I was in Boise, oh my gosh, a long time ago, but I got to come back. So, Robert, you're saying when you ask people, when you approach people and you have stuff to give, but when I am just asking what's needed, I feel horrible. I don't fully understand that, but I'll try to unpack it a little. I'm going to assume that. So first off, I'm gonna kind of I'm not. This is not at you, Robert. This is at all of us. That when you're really doing compassionate work, helping homeless people, especially helping homeless families. I was a family case manager in Los Angeles for 4 years. And I got to tell you, it was hard. It didn't feel good. I did not feel good. Um, uh, just working nonstop, the situation of the kids, the situation of the parents, the bureaucracy. I've literally had homeless people shit on me and piss on me, and when you're really, really helping people, it's not a feel good feeling. It really isn't. That said, there's nothing wrong with charity and helping people, and like giving out socks. I mean, uh, as you know, I talk about uh, giving out socks all the time. And when I'm depressed, I go give out socks, and that makes me feel better. So that's good too. I'm just saying, there's times when it's just not going to feel good. And uh, that powerless, I'm going to guess, from what you just wrote, that powerless that you feel, you got to use that to motivate you. So for me, so often I want to help somebody and I know I'm powerless to be able to provide them with what I need. So then I use my talents, which is video and marketing, uh, to help end homelessness. I know that's kind of a lofty answer to what you're saying, but what I'm saying, you know, that sadness that you're feeling because you're not able to help, let it motivate you to help the next time or to figure out, what it is. I mean, because if you're out asking people what they need, and if they're saying housing, I'm sure you're not able to provide housing. And that's going to make you feel bad. But if they're saying, gosh, I need a bus token, then maybe next time take a bus token or shirts or whatever. I highly recommend to people is to ask, what does somebody need, and listen and then provide it. Especially if you are in a situation where you walk by the same homeless person every day, maybe to and from work, to and from school, maybe to and from church or wherever. And you get to build that reputation or a relationship, not a reputation. You build that reputation. I said it again. See, I'm getting tired. We're past the 1 hour mark. Right around 45 minutes, I just get really stupid. And then past the 1 hour, it is an extra layer of stupid. But good questions. Good questions. Hopefully that answered. Hey, Glenn came back. Hey, Glenn. Hey, got Pop 47 PSN. If I'm ever in Pontiac, I would love to. Hey, Robert. Awesome. Hey, Harry, go charge your battery and good night. Wow. 6 pairs cost $10. Usually there's 1, 2, 3, 12 pairs. Isn't it 12 pairs? Yeah, it's 12 pairs that should be 11, $12. I've never seen a 6 pack. Night, Harry. Night, Master. So, folks, it is 1:06, meaning we have been doing this for 1 hour and 6, and I am going to say goodnight. It's been a long week for me. I just wanted to fire up and say hello and see how you all are doing. So, I hope you all have a marvelous weekend, and I am grateful and honored that you just spent an hour with me. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.